Say hello to a new friend on an old road. Take a two-lane trip of memories into mysteries unknown. Come along for the ride. Jim Hinckley's America. Jim Hinckley's America.
Well, Miss Deborah, Andy, how are you folks doing today? Glad to see everybody join us. Hope everybody's healthy and happy and doing well today. Mark, cold again here in Illinois. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. You know, that's why I don't live in that country no more. It's been a few years living in those nasty inland places, Minnesota, Michigan. Something to stump Jim. Well, I'm glad I can provide you some entertainment there, Andy. Need to get me a squeakier chair. How about one more time with the road crew?
Say hello to a new friend on an old road. Take a two-lane trip of memories into mysteries unknown. Come along for the ride. Jim Hinckley's America. Jim
Good morning, Keith.
Hinckley's America.
The music there is by the Road Crew. You can find that at Road Crew 66. I'm really honored that Joe and Woody and Don, the boys of the Road Crew, recorded that for us. It was a real honor, to say the very least. You know, I mentioned I'll share that today. Let me pull this up. I'll get this together for you. I mean, another warm, sunny day here in Kingman, Arizona. Don't know about you guys, but I just don't know how much this I can put up with. Day after day, sunshine and warm. It just doesn't stop. Makes it hard to find something to complain about. Glad everybody could join us this morning. It's always good to see everybody. I'm always amazed that people turn out to see me beat my gums, but I'm glad you do. It's good to see everybody. How's everybody doing this beautiful morning? Be right with you here, and let me just finish this, and then we will be set to go. And the weather here is good, Keith. It's sunny and warm. Like I say, it makes it hard to find something to complain about. It's just every day, sunshine and warm. You know, at least when you get up in the morning and it's 10 degrees or 15 degrees and snowing, you can start the day off with something to complain about. But this is pretty tough to do. Hey, you know, I'm going to try to stick to script a little bit, but I've had to change a few things. No, Andy, I never did find out where the Colored USO Club in Kingman is, but I'm counting on Andy for that. Okay, we'll get started here. Yeah, good morning. It looks like we made it through another week, for better or for worse. Most states are going to be opening for business in the coming days. So I guess I'll shelve my idea for a new quarantine calendar. It was going to be really beautiful photography, just had 4 pages. Fall, winter, spring, and summer. But I guess I'll bypass that, huh? I can't help but think opening for business and the way we've been handling this whole damn thing is kind of like a one-legged blind man playing darts and hoping to hit the target. And sooner or later he's going to, but somebody's going to get hurt in the process. Anyway, on this morning's program, I have a few updates on Route 66 business openings. Mr. Scott McCoy, Michael, how are you folks doing today? Scott Pietrowski, good morning. Hey, you've got a program coming up this morning with the California Route 66 Association, I understand. I want to report, got some Route 66 business openings to talk about. A little bit of an update on tourism. I wished I could sugarcoat it, but it's a little bit bleak. But we're going to get around this. We've got a couple of updates from Jim Hinckley's America, and as always, a few surprises. I was going to ask people, I had some snarky comments to make about some of the conspiracy theory videos and imitation news stories being circulated on social media. I'm going to bypass that. I'm concerned. It seems like we need a new national motto. America. We wouldn't be paranoid if they weren't out to get us. Andy, thank you. For anybody who missed the virtual presentation, Tour of Kingman, I'll talk about that in just a few minutes. Guys, there's so much stuff. Thank you, Scott. There's so much stuff being circulated out there, and some of it is well crafted, and it's easy to get sucked in. All I'm going to say is, please do some homework before you go sharing things and adding to people's anxieties and concerns and worries. Do a little bit of research, do a little bit of digging. Put aside your allegiance to, and fill in the blanks. Be prepared to think, and just let's be careful with what we send out there and share. Okay, yesterday I received notice that my latest book, Murder and Mayhem on the Main Street of America, has been the recipient of a major award. It's not a leg lamp, but I am quite proud of this, and it's the second time one of my books has received an award. This time, Murder and Mayhem on the Main Street of America, Tales from Bloody Six, was awarded the silver medal at the Independent Publisher Book Awards in the True Crime category. I was a bit surprised by that, but I was good. Walt, good morning. Corey, have you added this book to your library? And if you have, I'd like to know what you thought about it. Did you find it interesting? And if you haven't read it, may I suggest that you purchase a copy and add it to your reading time this summer? I try to, with everything I do, I try to add depth and context to stories. In Route 66, we have a tendency to see it in the context of neon and tail fins. And it was so much more than that, and that's what I've tried to do with this book. Kind of a walk on the dark side, if you will. I dedicated the majority of yesterday's weekly newsletter to Route 66 business updates. And you can find the newsletter is free. I'll get more into that in a minute, but let's talk about some of the businesses. Calico's restaurant in Kingman, they've been doing carry-out and curbside service. They open for a dine-in service on Monday morning at 7 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. Pop's Cafe in Arcadia, Oklahoma is open with a limited amount of inside seating along with available tables on the patio from 11 to 7. Curbside pickup, carry-out still available. You can call at 405-928-7677. I'll be wandering off script just a tad bit this morning because, like I say, a few things have changed, and I decided I had to take a little bit of different approach. I was a little bit in a different mood when I wrote this yesterday. The Roadkill 66 Cafe in Seligman, Arizona is opening Monday, May 11th. The iconic Blue Swallow Motel in Tucumcari, New Mexico, they're scheduled to open on May 17th. Lyle Art Gallery, 2719 Southwest 6th Avenue in Amarillo is open. The Wagon Wheel Motel in Cuba, Missouri continues to offer over-the-phone check-in and an assurance of clean rooms. Connie has also noted that Missouri is beautiful this time of year, and there are a lot of restaurants opening in Cuba or that offer carry-out. And I got to tell you, Connie, that's an understatement. Missouri this time of year is absolutely beautiful. And Cuba is centered, you draw a circle about 40 miles around Cuba. Just as an example, you drive down south on State Highway 19 through Steelville and go down to Merrimack Springs State Park. You just want to see some just absolutely stunning stuff. I prefer it during fall with the colors, but that's an amazing place, and it's just really a short detour off Route 66. Anyway, as far as restaurants, Tuggy and Joe's, Rivera Maya, Frisco's Grill and Pub, fantastic, fantastic. One of the things that gets me about Cuba is I do not know of a town even bigger than that. Cuba's just under 4,000 people, but I don't know of a town anywhere that has a more eclectic array of restaurants, and each one is good. Anyway, that's a good thing to escape your quarantine. Think of Cuba, Missouri. The Roadrunner Lodge in Tucumcari, New Mexico, they are open. I will be providing further updates in our weekly newsletter, and that's free, thanks to supporters of our crowdfunding initiative on the Patreon platform, and then tips made through PayPal. And you can find the PayPal link on our Facebook page. And you can register for the newsletter at that point. And I also post updates on businesses, Route 66 news, on the website, Jim Hinckley's America, and of course then on the Facebook page as well. Um, Speaking of our Facebook page, hey, I'm really glad to say that we are closing in on 6,000 followers. I wonder if we can push it up to this summer to 10,000 followers. I'm optimistic. We've got 5,852 followers, Jim Hinckley's America on Facebook. And I'm really honored by that. I'm never sure when I'm telling folks where to go, but some people seem to like that. I also have this note from Louis Keene, the mayor of Uranus. He has shared an update recently, and I quote, "No fear, Uranus is free of giant murderous hornets." Uranus and Louis are something that you got to see to believe. And I should note that the Uranus General Store is open for business, and you can order fudge online at uranusgeneralstore.com. Okay, let's get to some dark stuff on tourism just a tad bit. And, well, I don't know what else I can say here, but, well, I'll start with Air New Zealand. This is a direct from their website. Due to the deep impact of COVID-19 on forward travel demand, we will not resume operation of our suspended Auckland, Los Angeles, and London routes. Our Buenos Aires and Los Angeles, London routes are currently suspended through June 30th as a result of international travel bans and low demand. In addition, we are postponing the commencement of a nonstop service between Auckland and New York until late 2021 at the earliest. Look, we're in a crisis mode, but we always get through crisis, and there's opportunity in crisis. We always got to keep that in mind. And I've been preaching this for a while when I speak on economic development and tourism issues. When it comes to Route 66, you have several markets. You're international and you're domestic. And I always recommend that a community put a dot in their downtown, draw a circle 60 miles around. That is the community's primary marketing area. Other communities within that area are their primary marketing audience. And if we were to do that all along the Route 66 corridor, we would have created a chain, a network, promotional network. The domestic market, staycations, are really huge. And your marketing area to market your 60-mile radius is generally about 350 miles of your community. Here in Kingman, if we stretch that out to 400 miles, that gives us a potential market of 10 million people. Huge opportunity. And let's face it, discretionary cash is going to be a little bit of an issue in coming months. These are going to be a little bit hard times. But people are going to still want to get out. They're going to want to see things. They're going to want to do things. And we've got to keep things in perspective. You know, that's the important thing. We're so short-sighted sometimes on history. Let me give you a little bit of history here. We act like this quarantine is all new. Well, we've done this quite a few times in the interest of public health. And the worries and fears over quarantines and vaccines. I encourage you to do a bit of homework. Take a look at smallpox. Take a look at polio. Those are two recent scourges that we were able to get a handle on with vaccines. So let's just keep all that in mind. You know, just keep a bit of perspective. It'll cut down on your worry and anxiety a tad bit. You know, getting out and exploring, doing some hiking. You can do, if you're worried, you can do social distancing and still enjoy yourself, get some good health. Kingman is ideally suited for this. The BLM maintains miles and miles of trails right on the edge of the Kingman city limits and the Surbet Foothills Recreation Area. One of my favorite spots here is the Fort Beale area, very historic. I've done some on-the-road with Jim programs out there at Fort Beale. It's a really beautiful and scenic area, and it's just part of the things that make uh, Kingman special. Another little bit of tourism concern, and like I say, this is not meant negative. We've got to have information. Our inability to get a handle on COVID-19 is going to hinder reestablishment of international tourism for a bit. Traveler's insurance. I picked this up from a prominent travel journalist that I'm familiar with in England, and he noted that travelers in the USA face special challenges, and canceled flights, closed borders, of course we all do, and the United States is a country where medical costs are a little bit higher than Europeans are used to, and we also have trouble with public assistance. But the important part here is that many companies have dropped coverage for COVID-19 because of COVID-19 for travelers to the United States. So that's going to be an issue that we've got to be aware of as we work to develop tourism. You notice I've got a graphic there on Route 66 navigation. He started an online store. He's got some great merchandise. Marian is doing some wonderful things there. I've been working with Marian, of course, on the development of the Mother Road Route 66 passport. The COVID-19 situation has presented a bit of a challenge. There's going to be a delay in the next edition, but it's on the way to the printers, and things are coming together. This is a really great promotional tool for communities and businesses on Route 66, and it's a great way to enhance your Route 66 adventure. It is perhaps the ultimate customizable souvenir. I noted this previously, but I've still had a lot of inquiries about if I was going to be speaking at the Miles of Possibilities conference this fall. Actually, the conference has been canceled. In fact, most of my presentations for fall have been canceled, and as a result, I'll be talking about that in a moment, but I'm going to have to be redoing a few things there. I'm still writing a weekly column for Motoring NZ. You can find that at motoringnz.com. I've returned to my roots. We're talking about automotive history, and I do a podcast for them as well. And this week, I continue the story of Benjamin Briscoe. I don't know if you knew this or not, but he's the fellow who not only laid the cornerstone for Buick, but he also laid the cornerstone for General Motors, and an argument could easily be made that he also laid the cornerstone for Chrysler. And you can find that at motoringnz.com. Let's see what here. Let me pull this up for you. Here's a little thing, Motoring NZ, to give you an idea. Yesterday, I made a live stream presentation on the history of the historic business district in Kingman, Arizona, on behalf of the tourism office. And you can watch the program on our Facebook page, and later today it'll be up on our YouTube channel. Andy noted it was one of my best presentations yet. Since he's the archivist down at the museum, I was really honored by that. We're going to be switching over and putting some stuff on a Vimeo platform as well as our YouTube channel. And we're going to be creating special live programs for the crowdfunding site on the Patreon platform. Speaking of the crowdfunding, lots of neat stuff I've been working on there. I have last year, as exclusive content on our Patreon platform, I reprinted Edsel Ford's travel journal from the summer of 1915, and that went over pretty well. I received this copy of Edsel's travel journal with photos when I was working with the Historic Vehicle Association a few years ago. They recreated Edsel's trip in a 1915 Ford. And I got to give those boys credit. I would have to do some very serious drinking to take my Jeep out into some of the places they took that 1915 Ford. Hey, I mentioned the Road Crew. Uh, Listen to their music, roadcrew66.com. I know CDs are a little outdated, but check out some of their songs. One of my favorites, Under the Neon. Tremendous song. I wanted to mention that while we were here. Also, going back to the crowdfunding real quick, I'm amazed that people want to hear my story. It's a darkly comedic tale, but I've started writing my autobiography in serial format, weekly chapters on our crowdfunding site. It's exclusive content, my way of saying thank you for the support. And right now, especially in the current situation, we depend heavily on our crowdfunding initiatives because we want to continue supporting and helping businesses along the Route 66 community. And let's face it, they're not in a position to be spending a lot of money for advertising. And so I'm glad we can help them, and I thank you for helping us. As my schedule of appearances have been wiped clean, courtesy of COVID-19, it looks like we might be relaxing travel restrictions a tad bit in the near future. I'm now booking for summer presentations. And if you might recall that just at the end of the BC area, which is BC is before COVID-19, I kicked off a new presentation series in Needles, California to a packed house. So if you'd like to schedule a presentation for your event or fundraiser, drop me a note. You can find my contact information on jimhinckleysamerica.com, and you can do it through Messenger on Facebook. Speaking of my presentation, my presentation series focuses on the period 1885 to 1930, a really fascinating era. I mean, just consider this. Edsel Ford was traveling the National Old Trails Road in 1915. We were running stagecoaches in Arizona at the same time. Pretty amazing time. This is a reprint. It was done, you can pick this up, they're fairly common, but this is a really informative and fascinating book from that period. It's a reprint of the 1915 Arizona Good Roads Association Road Maps and Tour book. Lots of advertisements, but the maps are fascinating. And for those familiar with Oatman Road, the section of Route 66 going up through Ed's Camp, it's amazing to find that that's an improved version of the road. The original had grades up to 26%. Pretty astounding. Okay, Route 66 Yacht Club. This is a new social club, a lot of fun. And I'll have more information on Jim Hinckley's America soon. They're going to putting together a lot of things to create discussion and just fun in general, spark some conversations. And you can see that they're a new sponsor of Jim Hinckley's America. Speaking of other little goodies, I'll have more information. The Route 66 Association of Kingman, Arizona, now has in their gift shop Kingman, Arizona Route 66 pens. I'll get more information on that. And you can also show your support for Jim Hinckley's America by ordering Jim Hinckley's America pens. Okay, books. Man, the time's going fast. I don't want to go over 30 minutes because, well, I don't want anybody I don't want to wear out my welcome. This book is really interesting. It's a great bathroom reader, or one you can add to the research library. Arizona Place Names. It was originally written by Will Barnes in 1935 and reprinted in 1988. You can find copies on Amazon.com. They're not overly expensive. With the luxury of hindsight, a few historians have started questioning a couple of the entries, but I still find this a fascinating book. Just for example, just any place you pick this up, it's got Mexican land grant stuff, El Tovar, the railroad station hotel at the end of the Grand Canyon, the El Vado, Crossing of the Fathers, and great information on how things were named. Devon's Peak was named after Lieutenant Colonel T.C. Devon, 8th Cavalry United States Army, who commanded the Arizona District in 1868. Coolidge Dam, Cooley's Ranch, Squaw Peak. I didn't realize we had so many squaw peaks in Arizona. And I know that's a derogatory term. I got that. Not politically correct. But it gives you a sense of Arizona's history. And a lot of fun stuff. And a lot of the Route 66 locations are in here. How they got their origins and things of that nature. A lot of fun. I highly recommend that. Folks, I know we're getting close here because, like I say, I want to keep this about 30 minutes. So before I bid adios, I don't want to wear out my welcome. And I think you folks can only stand me beating my gums so long. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, it's another episode of 5 Minutes with Jim, our audio podcast. This will be published on our Facebook page. And also, you can find the page with our podcast on JimHinckley'sAmerica.com. I want to wrap this up with this. I said something about this last week, but consideration of the deep divisions that continue to plague us, I want to say it again. You know, we've got to come together in a time of crisis. So, let's put the United back in the United States. Let's take a deep breath and give a bit of thought about what we have in common with our neighbors instead of our differences. And let's not forget that we're in this boat together. We're all facing the uncertain future with the same concerns and worries. Last but not least, a bit of dark humor. We're facing some interesting economic challenges right now. So what's the difference between an economic recession and a depression? Anybody want to guess? Good morning, Vicky. Hey, the difference between an economic recession and an economic depression. In a recession, your neighbor loses his job. In a depression, you lose yours. We're in this thing together, guys. Keep that in mind. Hey, before I wrap this up, is there anything you would want to discuss or any questions I can answer? Anybody got anything they want to chat about or questions? Anything I can answer? Andy says the Mojave Museum is tentatively scheduled to open May 18th. Zoom 10 o'clock. Okay, Scott, if you can send that to me, I'd sure appreciate it. Well, Andy, you said you were thinking of something to stump Jim with. What you got? Anything? And Sandra, how are you? It's a delight to see you. How's things in the Netherlands? Vicky, I'm so glad to see you. We keep missing you on our road trips the last few years, and I'm glad you're here. I hope things are good in Albuquerque. Kendall, I understand that you might have interest in some of the things going on. I hope to see your Jeep excursions coming together soon. Well, if we don't have any questions or anything to add to this, I'm going to say thank you for joining us this morning. I hope you found the program entertaining, enjoyable, and a tad bit of fun. And I hope you'll join us again next Saturday morning for another episode of Coffee with Jim. Andy, I'm counting on you. Don't let me down here. I hope you'll join us again next Saturday morning for another episode of Coffee with Jim. And we'll be doing on the road program something next week, a little bit of a surprise. This past week we did a presentation, a virtual walking tour of downtown Kingman. And until we meet again, my friends, vaya con Dios and adios. Take care, my friends.